Okay, let's do it. Let's go over to the matchup doc. Also, I guess pull this up. We'll see if people join. If no one joins by like 11:20, I'll just start. Yep. That's annoying to whatever. Hey. Making sure this is working and all that. All seems to be fine. Cool. Okay. Just give it a few minutes to me, like 11:17, 11:18, and we'll get going. Yeah, let's give it a couple more minutes. Hello, whoever joined. I see at least someone joined. Welcome. We're going to get started in a couple minutes here if no one else joins. So, yep. Hope whoever, I can't tell. I can't tell who joined because I'm doing the chat stream on a different on my phone as opposed to on my computer because I don't want to. I feel like it's going to screw things up. But welcome, people. Welcome, everyone. So we are here with another stream. We are going to get going in a few minutes. Yep. Hey. Hope everyone is having a good morning so far. I got some breakfast and I was going to go get groceries, but I decided I'm going to stream first because my priorities are very much in order here. I'm definitely totally not prioritizing streaming over getting food. I'm totally normal. You can trust me here. I'm totally normal. Yeah. Okay. We are almost there. Yep. Right. Okay, it's gonna give it like one more minute for people to join, then we'll get going. Okay, I guess we'll get started. So, welcome everyone. We're gonna get going on the stream again. So, for our first matchup of this morning, we have SF Paul versus Saztur. I think SF Paul might have already played again. I don't remember, but funny enough, we have an Agromir, which is a Pokemon you don't see drafted that much. It's like okay for a 5-point steal, but it's not amazing. So very funny to see it drafted on both sides here. I don't think it comes. I don't think it makes any sense to come into your team. Maybe if like Saztur's really scared pouring on Z, but you have so many checks. Like these Agrons are, it's gonna be a Aggron bench mirror, really. So looking at the matchup, Saztur's defense is really strong here. D-Knight has trouble breaking through the combination of Skarmory and Hippowdon, and even Donphan here too. And Azelf, while it's okay, like Nasty Pod does look strong here if you can get rid of the Blissey, but getting rid of the Blissey is pretty damn difficult for Paul. when the only real great way to break it is like Dragonite and maybe Bravely, but Bravely. I mean, actually, looking at Paul's Bravely looks really strong here. I didn't realize there's a Bravely and a Aggron Mirror. Very funny. Paul's Bravely is pretty good. If Sazter doesn't fire something asleep first, then getting the Dusclops Spore, which is the best check. Skarm getting Spore would be really bad because then Focus Punch does do a ton of damage to it. Easily 3-hit KOs, even physically defensive Skarm is an offensive Breloom. Sazter's Breloom also looks decent, but I don't think it looks as good just because there's stuff like Azelf, which can come in and force it out pretty easily. Same with Tentacruel. I don't know. I think Sazter's a really strong defensive matchup here, though. Outside the Breloom, there's not a ton Paul can do. I do like the Marowak. I think the Marowak probably comes. Maybe some sort of Swords Dance set. These +2 EQs obviously going to smack the Hippo really hard, and +2 Fire or Thunder Punch will hit the Skarmory pretty well. But that opens him up to Breloom a lot, so that's a risk. I think PZ very well likely comes just because he needs special offense here, but I mean, there's multiple monsters that blanket. I think there's just a pretty easy matchup in Sazter's favor because his bulk is just so hard for Paul to deal with. But I mean, as we always say, with a D-Knight, there's a way, so we'll see how this game goes. Let's hop right into it. Paul on the left and Sazter on the right. See PZ tricking a Scarf onto his Hippo as Hippo clicks rocks, but now Hippo is going to be forced out. And with the lefties that Porygon-Z received, it's not going to be taking Sand Chip anymore. Try attack only just 21 to Blissey. That's virtually nothing. PZ is going to be forced out into Tentacruel. And a Blissey gets S-Toss, getting off some chip. And the Tentacruel is not lefty, so it will keep taking damage here. Blissey's going to paralyze it as a Toxic Spike goes up for Paul. That could be very frustrating for the Hippo later. In comes Magnezone. And Tentacruel getting fully paralyzed, so it can't get a moves off here. Magnezone will just knock out the Tentacruel. So that's a spinner gone, which means these rocks are probably staying up. Paul brings out his own Breloom in subs as Sazter's Breloom comes out. We see both Brelooms get their Toxic Orbs here. They both Breloom use Facade, but this Breloom's going to Focus Punch, and that crit is going to straight up one-hit KO. I don't know if it'll code without the crit. It really depends on the Breloom spread on the other side, but that's a huge crit if it did require it. Skarmory's just going to have to Brave Bird here. You can't let the Breloom start subbing again, but Spiritom's going to come in, not take too much from that. However, Spiritomb is taking a lot of chip because it's not lefties here. Shadow Ball as the Blissey comes out, another 6% on the Spiritomb. Does Spiritomb have Pain Split to heal a ton from this Blissey? Probably, but in comes Skarmory probably to cover that. Or it's just Calm Mind. Oh, damn. I guess since he already saw Thunder Wave from Blissey, he felt confident it wouldn't have Toxic. Even then, he's rest anyway. Whirlwind's going to force that out and bring the Dragonite here is really rough for Paul because he takes a full 25%. Fire Punch is even going to 2-hit KO to Skarmory, and Whirlwind's going to force it out. It takes 25 more later. Azelf taking 18 here from the chip. In comes Blissey. What's Azelf going to do? Just Flame Throw. That's going to bounce off. Blissey is going to boom. So the Blissey does go down. This might open up a Porygon-Z late game, but it's still looking difficult. Porygon-Z comes in on the Skarm. He is forced out into Hippo on the Thunderbolt, but he could just quick Ice Beam. Clicks Discharge, but we know it's not choice anymore, so it can just quick Ice Beam here. It's just a Tri Attack, so it's not packing ice coverage for him. The Earthquake's going to do a lot here, though, into the Porygon-Z. Tri Attack will knock it out, though. Let's go come in to try and check this. We see Aggron come in, so the Steel type did show up. We see HP Ground just OHKO it. Oh my god, is this PZ just going to win the game? Magnezone is shocked it will knock out the Porygon-Z with Thunderbolt, but this might be Cordon's. Dragon comes in, it's going to Fire Punch the Magnezone, and Skarm is at 57. It's in range of 2 Fire Punches here. It's going to Roost, but this Dragonite can't start your D-Dancing or just quick Fire Punch until it gets a burner or crit. If it gets either, it will break down the Skarmory eventually. Skarmory is just going to spam Roost. But also, Fire Punch is more PP than Roost anyway. And Skarmory has to spam Roost, so it'll end up in E-Speed range after 2 Fire Punches. This is a losing battle. And Dragon Dance, so yes, now Skarmory's forced to Whirlwind as D-Knight Fire Punches. D-Knight's going to go down to the rocks, but Skarmory is really low now. Or just Roost, okay. I guess he wants to try and spam Roost until it dies to Sand, but I don't know if he has enough health to do that. Fire Punch. Skarmory is going to roost, but again, Skarmory's in range of another one. Well, it's a roll, actually. We have to use lefties. If he gets the high roll, this will knock out. It's going to not knock out. It can quick roost, but D-Knight is just going to die to Fire. I mean, Skarmory's going to die to Fire Punch. D-Knight will survive on 2%. And D-Knight is going to win the game. I feel like you almost had to Whirlwind out with the Skarm there at some point and just try and gain Brave Him, try and heal up on it. I mean, it's hard to roost, but maybe you could gain the Spiritomb. I don't know. I don't think there was ever a situation that Skarm could win that end game. So a free open for Paul, successfully breaking through the crazy fat on Sazter's team. The Focus Punch career on Brave Him obviously helped. But also, like, just the Toxic Spikes, getting that chip on Hippo is really big. Very cool PZ set. I like this a lot. HP Ground makes a lot of sense into Magnezone Aggron. And then we do see the Calm Mind, Resto, Chesto, Spiritomb, a very classic set into bulkier teams. Makes a lot of sense here. Boom Azelf to remove the Blissey. Just very good prep from Paul here to break down the fat on Sazter's side. Also, getting this Hippo Choice Droid really sucked for Sazter. Yeah, and I don't think he had much outs in the end game anyway, once it was just down to that Skarmory. So that, good win by Paul. Let's move on to our next game. In the next game, we do have... we have Mayo versus Goldchidius. So Mayo, I believe, is a pretty solid Smogon player from what I understand. For those who are draft old heads, this is not Mayoran. This is someone named Mayo Pockets. Mayo Oran is one of the best draft week players of all time, but he did not sign up for this. He's not really around anymore anyway. And the other side, we have Goldchidius, someone I don't really know, but again, everyone has a chance in this. So start off the matchup. First off, this Gyarados looks very strong here. Outside the Zapdos, not much really wants to take it on. Yes, Slowking can take a hit, but it doesn't really want to. And without regen, it can get low. If Mayo keep it the pressure, potentially taunt it with Gyarados to prevent it from slacking off. But on the other hand, Mayo's Slowking looks great here. It checks Heatran, it checks Rhyperior if it's physically defensive. Zapdos is a bit annoying, but a Mayo Slide can't help with it. Obviously, Heat Wave is a problem because it does have thick fat, but Mayo Slide is just very strong as Master in general. Stone Edge plus Earthquake hits this team incredibly hard. On Goldchidius' side, this Heatran is looking pretty good. Yes, the only real switch-ins are the Slowking and the Gyarados, but you can taunt Toxic down Slowking if you really want, especially if you're on Pasho or Protect. But overall, I think Mayo's a pretty heavy matchup advantage here. There's not too much to say. Just Mayo's threats are very, very strong in this matchup, especially that Mayo Swine. Mayo Swine looks absolutely nasty. As does the Celebi, honestly. I didn't even mention the Celebi. Celebi can Calm Mind all over this team. And even the Blissey, so I'm pretty sure, I don't remember if Celebi is taunt. I think it might. Even if it doesn't, you can always just Calm Mind, try and break down Blissey and then switch out with Natural Cure and come back in later and heal up with Recover. So yeah, Calm Mind Celebi looks very strong here. Let's get into the game. Mayo on the left with that very nice custom avatar, and we got Goldchidius on the right. Inverted, we into Zapdos. Switching out turn 1 makes me think the Infernape is definitely not Scarf. So unless it doesn't want to reveal it. Zapdos is good. Discharge, get the power on this turn 1. Zapdos is going to U-turn out, so it's not Scarf either. Full power on Registeel. Rocks go up as Mamoswine comes in. In comes the Slowking. But Mammoth's got a quick sub. Oh, shit. Mammoth's get its rocks up. As Slowking breaks the sub with Psychic. Mayo's going to go out to his own Slowking and take very little from the Psychic. But what's he going to do back? Is he packing something? He's got a Toxic. That makes a lot of sense. Goldchidius is going to Thunder with the Slowking. But I'd say Mayo definitely got out ahead on that exchange. You would much rather their Slowking be Toxic than Paralyzed. Thunder Wave again, hitting the Blissey. So it will be paralyzed at least until it switches. So it's going to switch it back into Slowbro. Blissey is going to go out. Slowking's going to go out to Mamoswine. So this Slowking is coming in, and it will force out the Mamoswine again. back into Mayo Slowking. But again, Psychic's going to do virtually nothing, and this Slowking can just... God, there's a lot of Slowking. Mayo Slowking can just slack off. In comes Rhyperior. I assume Slowking's just going to slack off. No, it's going to Toxic the Rhyperior. Interesting. So this Rhyperior, if it's a setup, say, is a lot worse now. In comes Registeel, as Rhyperior does just Mega Horn, doing not much, only 15 to Registeel. Obviously, you have to fear Earthquakes so you can go out to Celebi. He's just playing the Goldshittius like a fiddle. But Megahorn, oh my god, I spoke too soon. Megahorn calling the Celebi switch in. One of the biggest threats on Mayo's side is out of commission immediately. Close combat for Infernape is going to knock out this Rhyperior, but losing Celebi is rough for sure. In comes Donphan, and Celebi was one of the main switches into this. Close combat just has to get the damage off on this thing. Donphan is going to spin, get a crit. That's like, it's very funny when spin does big damage to DB with only, 20 base power. In comes Gyarados on the Donphan. I'm just going to go Earthquake, but Gyarados can start staying up here potentially. Out comes Zapdos. I assume Gyarados is going to Dragon Dance here, or Thunder Wave. So now the Zapdos is paralyzed too. So it's probably a bulkier Gyarados set. In comes Mamoswine, another crit from Goldshittius. Heatran comes in. This is probably Scarf based now. He's playing it. So Slowking's pretty free. Yeah, Fire Blast is not good. Oh my god, what is going on? Goldshittius with all the crits and the power, and now Slowking is full power, so he can't slack off. Holy crud! This is gonna Seismic Toss. Slowking has to try and slack off here. It does get it off this time, thankfully. Let's see Seismic Tossing again, just trying to get the Slowking to get full powered. But Slowking is very healthy again now. Seismic Toss comes off. And Toxic will eventually force this Blissey back out. It's going to switch out immediately, okay? Into Zapdos. As Slowking is fully paralyzed again, yikes, this is not going Mayo's way at all. But now the Zapdos gets full powered. Lots of powers on each side. Heat Wave only doing around 30 to Registeel. Registeel go quick Thunder Wave, predicting the Heatran to come in. Now the Donphan is going to come in as Registeel's Seismic Toss is getting off 26 on it. It's a pretty bulky Donphan is only doing 26, yeah. Knock off Game Wave Registeel's leftovers. And Registeel's going to boom, taking down the Donphan with it. Mamoswine comes in, but the Scarf Heatran is back. We know Mamoswine isn't Scarf, so he's just going to double into Zapdos on the Slowking. Very good play from Goldshittius. But he's going to get fully paralyzed as Slowking just can slack off again. And Mamoswine's going to come back in and take another 12. Mamoswine's getting really low here, however, it can quickly attack now. It's going to substitute going down to 3%, but Heat Wave is going to break that substitute. Ice Fang from the Mamoswine does 52, but Zapdos... Oh, it's going to flinch the Zapdos. That's huge. Zapdos may have just won the game otherwise. In comes Slowking as Mamoswine clicks Ice Fang, and it's probably going to get Earthquake here. I guess it could switch by... Maybe just Earthquake. Oh, he's going to get his own rocks back. He's going to get his own rocks up again for that Zapdos, getting it down 30% on switching. Psychic is going to knock out this Mamoswine. We do know this Slowking has Thunder Wave, though, so this Gyarados clicking Dragon is scary. Why wouldn't you... Oh, my God. It's a Wumberry, so he got... The Ice Beam broke the Wumberry, but now it's probably in range, so it can't... Yeah, Bite's going to knock it out. And yes, Bite is a real tech on Gyarados in this generation. It's not like that crazy. Gyarados is going to Waterfall Blissey, do a ton of damage, get a flinch. That is unfortunate, but with all the full powers and the crits over, I don't feel too bad for Goldshittius. And Gyarados is probably going to clean up here because it should outspeed the Heatran. No, the Gyarados is not running enough speed for Scarf Heatran at +1, so Heatran is going to KO of HP Electric, but I think, Infernape should live that, can just quick close combat. And is it choice? If it's not choice, then the Zapdos does just go down to a fire move. The Infernape is choice, but close combat is going to knock it out. If it's banded, that crit did not matter. If it's not, that crit might have mattered. But based on the fact he's not, like, in the chat saying anything, I assume, he said GG, I assume it's not. It's, he's figured out it's banded Infernape. So, yeah, very close win for Mayo here. A lot of hacks on both sides. Obviously, the full powers on Mayo's side really sucked, as did the crits. And that waterfall flinch at the end on Blissey was unfortunate. That immediate fall from the freeze that was being from the Wumberry is really good. Yeah, the prep was pretty basic on both sides. Dual status Slowking's pretty cool. I wonder what its attack move was. Probably Surf if I had to guess. Yeah, and then Boom is also pretty good. I really like this Mamoswine set. Sub looks really strong. It doesn't seem that strong, but like the fact that you have enough HP to sub up on Blissey is really big. Yeah, and then nothing too crazy on Goldshittius' side. Scarf, fucking what's it called? Heatran makes a lot of sense. However, actually, I don't think it makes that much sense to like Gara. I guess it helps with like Infernape and Registeel, but it doesn't do that much into Gyarados, so I think it's kind of odd. Big play of the Rhyperior catching the Celebi. Celebi was a huge problem otherwise. But yeah, very close game. Yeah, good win by Mayo in this one. Into next game, we have Okay, we have Scissoring Gwen versus Marshy. Marshy was last year's runner-up in the tournament. Wait, oh, that's free, not 13. Yeah, Scissoring Gwen versus Marshy. Marshy was last year's runner-up in the tournament, so obviously a very, very strong DPP player with quite a strong team here as well. We do see Gwen, I believe, is already down 0-1 from their first game, so they are fighting for their tournament life, and they are up against, obviously, both of the finalists, so they do not have it easy, but they need this upset to stay in the tournament. So we will see how this goes. And we will go into the matchup. That's right here. Sorry, I was just checking something. So looking at this Raikou on Gwen's side is really strong. Thunderbolt, Psychic, Air Tracer, Shadow. Yes, there's a Lantern, but Lantern doesn't enjoy dealing with Celebi. Even Heatran can wear it down for fire moves. Marshy's Rotom looks pretty strong if you can just eliminate that Drapion or Gate low enough. Or even you can just Willow it and then it can't Pursuit Trap you. And you can switch out and come back and layer and T-Bolt it. So that's pretty good. Marshy's Lucario looks very strong here. I mean, yes, there's a Celebi, but like you can deal with that. Honestly, I would consider running like an Agility set on Lucario here. Like Agility Close Combat Fire Punch. And just get chip on the Celebi and the Heracross early. Probably after an Ice Punch in case the Gligar comes. I don't think Gligar's great here, but he is a Lucario check. I think Glalie is almost definitely the lead from Marshy just because Gwen does not have a spinner. Albeit, then that means Gwen's probably has to re-Heatran. Probably like Shucker or Sash Heatran so it can Magma Storm and knock out the Glalie through its Sash, but that can be taken advantage of by Marshy, who can lead something else, predicting the Heatran. I could see Glalie into Frostless, and then Frostless does win that 1v1 probably. Well, at least gets up more spikes, but either way, it's a pretty interesting. I think Gwen's Celebi looks pretty decent here. I mean, obviously, taking U-turns from Azelf hurts, but I think Tangaberry, Calm Mind could be really good, or Tangaberry Nasty Pot even. Yeah, Gwen's Heatran this is just a very offensive matchup. I think both sides have really strong offensive threats here. And I think neither side's bulk is like amazing. So outside maybe the Roam, I'd say the Roam's pretty good here. I'd say it's pretty even. Let's get into the game. Gwen on the left, Marshy on the right. Marshy does correctly call the Heatran lead into the potential Glalie. He's a crit HP ground. It's going to do a ton through that Chucka Berry. Discharge comes off from the Lantern. It gets the power on Celebi immediately, so it will be forced out at some point to heal that off. Ice Beam doing 46 to Celebi. As Celebi does just leech. That's a pretty strong Lantern if it's doing 46 with Ice Beam into Celebi. Celebi is going to recover here as the Roam comes in, but now he's forced out. Draban comes down the Rotom. Is it good quick list? No, just HP grounds. That makes a lot of sense here for the Heatran on this. We do see a Scarf Drapion get off a crunch. Rotom very well might have Pain Spray and be able to heal up later. Taking out the Drapion. In comes Frostlass. Frostlass is going to fire off a Shadow Ball and do pitiful damage to Lantern. It's not even going to KO the next one. Lantern's going to miss a Toxic on Celebi. Unfortunate, but again, with Natural Grid, it's not that big a deal. Grass Knot's not going to do virtually nothing. Lantern's pretty light. Ice Beam is going to do 41 here. And Celebi comes in. Azelf's going to come in on the Grass Knot, take virtually nothing. Azelf's just going to get the freest U-turn of all time. And Lucario's just going to close combat, knock out the Heatran. Does reveal the Life Orb. In comes Celebi. It's going to easily be able to knock out that Lantern. It clicks a HP Fire, I guess. It's going to Grass Knot. It's going to take out the Lantern from this range. But Azelf can just come back in, quick U-turn again. Yeah, in comes the Heracross. But, I mean, Marshy can easily bring in a Pokemon that like Nidoking. Yeah, Nidoking's really strong here. Nidoking is just going to Fire Punch, getting a ton of damage off on Frostless. Is this Nidoking Scarf? Presumably not, based on that, but unless Marshy's skying for a Scarf of Gwen's, which is fair. Lucario comes out, is going to Bullet Punch. Oh, that crit puts Heracross in range of another one. That's very unfortunate. Heracross will have at least forced this out, otherwise. In comes Raikou. I don't think it was an E-Spear without the crit, but maybe it was. I don't calc. Obviously, I'm not calculating right now. It's a special defensive Sand Slash, so Shadow Ball's not going to do too much. And then Raikou is forced out into Celebi. Is it going to quick the bug move here? No, she's going to get up rocks, severely weakening that Frostless next time it comes in. Azelf is going to come in on the Celebi as it clicks Leech Seed. Azelf can't just U-turn again here. That's just going to do only 44. It's a physically defensive Celebi. Rotom comes out on the HP. I believe we saw it was HP Fire earlier. We'd see on the Rotom, but Rotom can just pain split up. Even though it's game we'd see, Shadow Ball should do a ton to this now. Grass Knot is going to do nothing. Remember, not only is Rotom a water type, but also Rotom is only Grass Knot's only 20 base power on Rotom, so that's going to do where we know damage. Even HP Fire would have been better there. In comes the Raikou. Out comes Sandslash, but Raikou can just fire off a Shadow Ball and start chipping this. However, it's not going to matter. This Raikou's, Sandslash is not going to Earthquake, yeah. Even if Frostless can pick up a kill here, I think the game is over. It's at 10%, it's in range of Bullet Punch. Gwen is good. Destiny Bond at least take out the Sandslash. I mean, you have to Ice Beam and hope Marshy misclicks. I don't know, but so that's a pretty big 4-0 win for Marshy. Obviously, differential doesn't matter, but very, very good prep on Marshy's side. The Spinef Lantern just sitting on this team a ton. The HP ground Rotom allowing it to 1v1 the Drapion is really good. Obviously, Sandslash coming makes sense. Raikou is quite scary, but the double ground type stay able to deal with it pretty well. I like the dual priority on Lucario here. It makes a lot of sense. I do think the Weed Cheat Celebi was great, but Grass Knot was never the play here. Like, this team, just look at this team. Does Grass Knot even hit anything for max power here? No, I guess you hit Registeel, but you're doing, nothing to it anyway. I feel like you just have to run Energy Ball here over Giga Drain, because Giga Drain only has 60 base power, so Energy Ball at least gets you, decent Grass-type damage. And also, actually does real damage to things on, Grass Knot in this matchup. So, yeah, very dominant win from Marshy, showing why they made finals last time. So, get into our next game. Game number 14. So, here we have K-Crick versus Reverse Tracebacks. K-Crick is one of the greatest Draft League players of all time. He's won numerous team tours, captained a ton, won individual events. He's just one of the best for a reason. Reverse Traceback is someone I didn't know too much before this, but he is in top cut of Autumn Seasonal right now, so clearly he has some chops and knows what he's doing. Obviously, K-Crick is still the favorite, but I would not count Reverse Tracebacks out here at all. I believe K-Crick's already 1-0 at this point, so if he wins this game, he will advance. So getting into the matchup, this Infernape is, wow, nothing switches into it. Zapdos does not take Flare with his Voil. Knows Claydol, close combats into Gastro. I think you just run Bandit Infernape here. I don't see why not. You just run Bandit and quick buy-ins. It's so free. On a Reverse Traceback's side, though, this Lucario is very hard to guard against. Qwilfish is slower and gets nuked by Earthquake. The Dusclops has to come for it. And Dusclops is pretty good here, actually. Yes, you have the Frostlass, but even so, I'd say Dusclops is pretty good. I think Reverse Traceback spikes are very strong here because Sandslash as a spinner isn't great into Frostlass, because if you spin it comes in, they just clicks Ice Beam next turn and forces you out. On another note, though, Reverse Traceback Zapdos looks very strong here. Outside the Aerodactyl, and the Aerodactyl is pretty hard checked by the combination of Claydol and Gastrodon, even Venusaur to an extent. Reverse Traceback's Clef, I definitely think you have to run Chople here for the Infernape, but you don't really need anything else anyway. So that's very strong. If you catch it Infernape CCing as it stays in, you can Psychic it and just take it out, or T-Wave and just neuter it for the game. Unless that Shaman is Aromatherapy. I do think the matchup slightly favors K-Crick, though. Infernape's just so strong here. Overall, I think K-Crick has a slight advantage, but let's get into the game. K-Crick on the left, Reverse Tracebacks on the right. We see Aerodactyl and Frostlass leading. Aerodactyl just going to crunch turn 1, do a ton of damage to Frostlass. Frost is going to Icy Wind. So that's going to do about half, and that's going to make Aerodactyl slower. Frost is going to Destiny Bond here. As Aerodactyl crunches, so that's pretty big. Those are going to trade. No hazards from either side on that lead exchange. Interesting. Infernape comes in. Just going to U-turn on Zapdos. Do a Lemon. And Zapdos is going to Hidden Power. I assume HP Flying then. Do virtually nothing on Registeel as it subs. Registeel's going to Seismic Toss though, and that's going to break the sub. I feel like Zapdos can run enough HP to not have its sub broken. I don't remember its exact HP stat. It's at least close. No, never mind. Seismic Toss is 26. Zapdos can continue doing Substitute. It just going to Roost here, but this does give it K-Crick a chance to get something in. Or to Quick Toxic. Or Thunder Wave even. Paralyzing the Zapdos is really going to limit its ability to check things later. Seismic Toss, getting off more chip. Thunderbolt does very little to this Registeel. Quivable comes in, takes about a quarter from this Seismic Toss. And then Registeel's going to paralyze the Quivable too, although Quivable doesn't mind being paralyzed at all in this generation because, oh, maybe it does because there's Iron Head here. Because Clefable, obviously it can't be fully paralyzed thanks to Magic card. Registeel is forced to lock into Iron Head, and Clefable can just soft boiled here or switch. It's good soft boiled. Claydol comes in, and Infernim's gonna Flare Blitz and do 68. Yeah, it's definitely, almost definitely banded. Claydol's gonna get burned, take another 12, and Infernim's going to just knock it out straight up. Infernim's still at 58 after all that. The Zapdos comes in. I assume he's calcing Fizz Dev and noticing 4% kill, so he just goes out to Registeel on the Thunderbolt. And Registeel's go reveal Rest in the 4th slot. Oh my god, that's really big here. Because now Thunderbolt, again, it's just going to bounce off. Registeel is Seismic Tossing the Clef again, getting some chip. And it can try and Power Punch it down. Well, it can just try and push it down Iron Head, right? It can't be fully paralyzed. Label Seismic Tossing, and Registeel is going to get the flinch. Clef does have to soft boil on its next turn. If it gets flinched, oh no, that's a crit. That Clefable goes down. In comes Qwilfish. That's the obvious Lucario check. Close Combat's going to probably bounce up. Yeah, it's a physically defensive Qwilfish. That makes sense. Is it going to follow up with an Earthquake? No, it is not. In Revenge, Qwilfish to potentially makes, and the fact that Qwilfish not being able to just probably shuck a Revenge to remove that Lucario, but it's just going to boom, almost take out the Venusaur, but just barely not. However, due to there being no target, we see won't heal anything on the Venusaur. Reverse Trace Back's going to Quick Protect Scout with the Infernape blocks into, but I mean, it's pretty obvious here it's going to go for Flare Blitz. There's no Fire Resist anymore. In fact, there was no Fire Resist to begin with. Gastron was benched. Lucario comes in, it's going to E-Speed, knock out the Infernape, but K-Crix looking in a very strong position. It is obviously a Chople. Snorlax is coming in here. Trace Backs is going to Scout for it, and Snorlax is going to Earthquake. Does this thing have Curse, though? It's just going to Body Slam onto the Zapdos, getting some chip. Body Slam again. Can Zapdos roost? Yes, Zapdos can roost it off. Kind of fight. I mean, it's so funny seeing Snorlax outspeeding something paralyzed in older gens, but because it's a quarter speed, Snorlax does naturally outspeed Zapdos because it's like 96, and Zapdos is at like 92. Even, it's at like 82 of its max speed. A Thunderbolt and Seismic Toss. This Zapdos continuing to be a thorn, but if he keeps getting paralyzed, it will eventually go down. Registeel clicking Rest as Zapdos roosts. And also remember, K-Crix still has another Pokemon in the back, too. In comes Snorlax, I assume, yeah, calling the Lucario switch on the sweeping Registeel makes sense. This forces Zapdos back in. As Snorlax Earthquakes, there's no reason to overprotect around that Lucario. Body Slam, Zapdos gets paralyzed again. Body Slam, yeah, there's no reason to protect the Snorlax here because if the Lucario comes in, it could get paralyzed from Body Slam. Third Body Slam is going to get paralyzed again, and Zapdos is going to go down. Ooh, triple full powers is rough, but another Body Slam should knock out. And with the Chople Berry that it definitely has, Lucario's obviously not going to kill with Close Combat, yeah. Snorlax is going to live and take out Earthquake. Those full powers are really rough. Shuck a Berry Lucario so actually lives, but what's a K-Crix's last Pokemon? It's Shaymin. Shaymin surely is not O-Code by Lucario, and it outspeeds anyway. And K-Crix is going to take a 2-0 win. Obviously unfortunate with the crit on the Clefable and the crit on Clefable, and then was there the freaking powers on Zapdos. To be fair, that's part of why you Thunder Wave a Zapdos in general, so that's fair. In Iron Head, I mean, it's pretty obvious the reason Registeel's Iron Head here was specifically to flinch down the Clefable because Clefable sits on otherwise. I mean, if that's your plan, it did work, so fair enough. K-Crix using the odds to his advantage, and sometimes that's how you have to win the game. I really like Revenge on Qwilfish. It makes a lot of sense for Lucario. I presume it was Shuck a Berry to tank an Earthquake. Chople Berry, I mean, Snorlax makes sense. It seems very Lucario weak. I'm really surprised Reverse Traceback did not bring his Gastrodon. Like, he just was going to let Infernape quick banded Flare Blitz for free, and Infernape did do that. It just did so much damage to everything. Really opened up the team for everything else on K-Crix's side. But yeah, a good win by K-Crix. I believe this advances K-Crix 2 brackets, so good for him. Let's get into the next game. So, number 15, we are at almost the halfway point of the stream. We have Jamie for real versus Void. I don't know Jamie. I believe Void, I think I saw it. He's like a very accomplished Smogon player. I don't recognize the name, but I know I saw like when looking at his profile, I was just clicking on his name earlier, he has like a lot of achievements. So definitely someone very strong. I see a lot of the Smogon players draft really fast stalls like this, so I'm not surprised at all. Definitely trying to take advantage of this tournament. A lot of the regular players not being as equipped to beat stall. So let's take a look at the matchup here. This Weavile, first off, is quite good outside the Hitmontop and the Fortress. But Hitmontop is relatively easy to deal with between Togekiss and Azelf, especially Azelf. Azelf looks insane here. Oh my god. The only psychic resist is Crest. I think Nasty Plot Azelf is like a shoe-in here. Outside maybe like a Scarf Mischievous, nothing revenges it. I guess you could say Sucker Punch on Hitmontop, but Hitmontop has to fit Sucker. It can't fit something else, which is really big. So Azelf is looking fantastic here in the late game. We also see on Void side, Zapdos is decently solid. Outside Weavile, not a ton wants to break it down. Albeit Gastron can't come in on it pretty easily. Zapdos is probably forced into HP Grass, but Gastro can probably Toxic it. I don't think Zapdos can fit Sub in this matchup. That Blissey on Jamie's side is also pretty difficult for Void to break down outside specifically the Hitmontop. And Hitmontop is pretty good offensively actually for Void because the fighting resists are Azelf and Muck. Remember in this generation, Togekiss is normal flying, so close combat will hit it neutrally. I don't know if the Muck even comes really. Like, I don't think it's that good here. Especially with Hippo just coming in on it every time. And even the Crest can kind of come in on it. I could definitely see Swallow coming. A Gut Set looks okay as a breaker here. You just have to worry about Fizdef, Hippo, and Sand chipping you down. But honestly, Swallow can run Adamant. Adamant Facade might 2-hit KO Hippo, or at least get very close, if not do it after hazards. Although I'm actually noticing here, Jamie does actually have Spikes, which might make it a little harder to 2-hit kill that Hippo, because you only have rocks from Azelf or Blissey. Gastro has no hazards in this gen. I know, I think I lean Jamie here just because Azelf looks so potent. Azelf looks insanely potent here. I don't see Void having much he can do about it. Let's get into the game though. Let's see how it goes. So you have Jamie on the left and Void on the right. Scissory into Hitmontop, and the Hitmontop is not Intimidate. Wow, it's not Intimidate into Weavile. Crazy. It's going to fake out with the Technician, but only do 8%. Anyway, U-turn, doing 15 onto that Fortress. Azelf coming in for free. It's going to Nasty Player. What's Fortress going to do? Fortress is going to have a Toxic Spike. This Azelf is in prime position now. In comes Hippo. It's just going to go to +4. Does this Oko at +4? In comes the Hitmontop, but if it... Okay, so Hitmontop is go with the Energy Ball, but it's go down to Void's own Sand. No. He needed that to survive so he could Sucker Punch. In comes Crest, but sure was a Shallow Ball. Yeah. Azelf is going to Oko the Crest. Does it just win the game? Giving Azelf 2 returns is very guaranteed. Psychic is just going to Oko. Yeah, I think Azelf just wins. Life Orb +4 is just going to run through this team. Fortress comes in. We know it doesn't have Flamethrower, so Shallow Ball's not going to knock it out. Obviously, though, he preserved the potential of Flamethrower, so Fortress couldn't come in until now. So Azelf's going to go down, but it took down 3.5 Pokemon with it. In comes Scissor, as Fortress could give an air Toxic Spike, but Scissor's just going to set up too. Zapdos is going to come in here. Scissor going to knock off. That only is 25 at +2 because it's so weak this gen. The Scissors go switch out into the Gastrodon. Zapdos is forced to Heat Wave here. But Zapdos losing its leftovers does mean it gets worn down by the sand, which is really big. Zapdos is going to kick HP Grass and knock out this Gastrodon. What's going to come in next on Jamie's side? And Muck is going to come in so it will absorb the Toxic Spikes. You're going to get Toxic on the Hippo too. That's really big. Void is really far behind right now. So he's going to come in as Hippo gets up rocks. But I don't know how much these hires are going to help him. Scissor is going to Swords Dance probably. Or it's just going to U-turn. Ooh, huge crit on Zapdos. That's very unfortunate. That's going to put in range of Pursuit from Weavile even. That's gigantic. Yeah, and Zapdos only at 3%. But he's not going to Pursue. He's just going to quick Ice Shard. I feel like, he might not have had Pursuit to be fair. Weavile is going to knock off, but again, I feel like Jamie doesn't realize knockoff is so weak because he's running Life Orb knockoff Weavile. Yeah, he definitely did not realize how weak knockoff is because he's running Life Orb knockoff Weavile and Swords Dance knockoff Scissor. Knockoff's only Tway based Power Gen. It did only 5% there, even with the Life Orb. Scissor is good. Come in as the Palon comes out. Knockoff again, getting rid of Hippo's leftovers. Second crit knockoff, but still doing virtually nothing. Scissor is good. Swords Dance as Hippo clicks Roar, forcing it out. In comes Blissey. So that's the last Pokemon. And Void is starting to make some progress here. He's playing really far behind. Blissey gets the rocks up. That's good. I mean, Zapdos goes down next time it comes in unless Fortress can spin. Hippo getting off the Earthquake, but Blissey can just soft boiled here. Or Seismic Toss, meaning that the Hippo will go down. It can slack off here, but this Hippo's going to be forced out. It's taking so much chip from this Toxic. I assume Void will just sack the Zapdos here. No, he stays in. Just going to take the trade, okay, but it's down to just a 7% Fortress. This game is over. Yeah, I feel like you have to try and preserve that because now your Fortress comes in. It's at 7. It's good. Go down to Bullet Punch. Or just knock off again that won't do anything. And now spin means the Zapdos is allowed. But if this Scissor has Bullet Punch, doesn't matter. Knockoff is going to take out the Fortress. I assume this Scissor has Bullet Punch to knock out Zapdos. But Zapdos is good to stay on anyway after his turn. It doesn't matter. Oh my god, dude. Yeah, no shit. Everything's taking your knockoffs because knockoff is terrible shit. Wow, okay then. Jamie with the power of Nasty Plot White Form Azelf just wins the game despite running 2 knockoff on offensive Pokemon, expecting it to do damage. And, yeah, being a top tier small player just by, wow. I mean, Azelf is my baby. I love this Pokemon. It was very strong here. Void weighing it, get 2 free turns was very dangerous. It took out, obviously, Hitmontop, Cress, and Clefable, but I don't know, like, and on top of that, I feel like you could have preserved it, right? Preserving the Azelf versus the Fortress, like, why would you sack it yet? Let me see, how much health was Azelf at? Azelf was at 46, yeah. Why would you sack it to Fortress when you have free switch-ins? Azelf is at 46, you can just switch it out and come back in and knock out, and like, once you take out the Fortress, you just switch back in, and you can maybe even set up again later on the Hippo. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get sacking that Azelf at all. I don't get the knockoffs, but I mean, I guess it worked. Jamie does take the win over Void, but wow, those yeah, that's I've seen a lot of weird things. I don't think I've seen much offensive knockoff, especially not on 2 Pokemon expecting it to do damage. Let's move on to the next one. Wow, that's a hell of an upset, yeah. Game 16. We have Muteki versus Gorex. I believe Muteki is down 0-1, and Gorex made a top 4 in our first DDT. I think he made like top 8 or something last year, or maybe top 16. But Gorex is a very strong DBV player. Fair point, Nutra, fair point. But yeah, Gorex is a very strong DBV player. Had a lot of success in the last 2 tournaments. I don't know Muteki, and they're down 0-1, but they definitely can pull this back. So starting to look at the matchup here, I mean, Infernape goes Brazy. Outside the Swampert, if you catch the Swampert with a Grass Knot, it does get 2 KO'd if you catch it on the switch-in. Or even just Bandit. I'm pretty sure Bandit Close Combat does like at least 45. You can get spikes up with Fortress. Gorex's Spinners and Armaldo, so getting a couple spikes up with Fortress is not that hard to do, especially on the Drapion or the Snorlax, or even Swampert itself. Those will be very hard to remove, and those spikes will probably put Swampert into a KO range of Close Combat from Infernape. Yeah, actually, Muteki's Gyarados is very strong here. Zapdos is the only real check. Although Azelf is probably Scarf. I think Azelf has to be Scarf here anyway. Because Scarf Azelf covers for Infernape, covers Scarf Infernape, covers +1 Gyarados, covers Scarf Flygon. Yeah, this Azelf should be Scarf in this matchup 100%. So maybe the Gyarados isn't that good, but it can run Macan still and maybe do something. On Gorex's side, this Blaziken looks very strong. I mean, like, if you catch the Gyarados with a Thunder Punch, it's going to take a ton of damage. Vaporeon does not enjoy taking those hits. I think a Swords Dance or even Agility Blaziken could be very strong here. This Flygon also looks pretty solid. Only real text to it are Swampert and Zapdos. You can U-turn out on those, gain something to smack them really hard. And but on Gorex's side, Azelf always looks, in my opinion, very good. I think you are forced into Scarf though, like, because you need the speed control in this matchup, unfortunately. Because otherwise, an offensive Azelf could do a lot of work with like a Nasty Plot or even just like a Life Orb set. This team does not like switching into its attacks at all. But I think it probably just has to run Scarf. I think that's just a necessity for the speed control in this game. Otherwise, you get kind of smoked by Infernape and Scarf Flygon and +1 Gyarados. But let's see how it goes. I do also want to say Gorex's Snorlax is very strong if Infernape goes down. Like, there's not much that Muteki can do about it once Infernape goes down. And Infernape obviously does chip itself down. So we'll see how this goes. Let's get into the game. Muteki on the left, Gorex with the very classy Snorlax on the right. We see an Azelf lead, switch out on the Flygon. So either he isn't Scarf or he doesn't reveal it yet. Armaldo comes in, so he did bring a spinner. Gyarados is going to come in, and then Zapdos is to switch into Gyarados. Gyarados is going to Waterfall. And oh my god, that crit did 66. Wow, Zapdos can roost it off. That's still forcing a roost there. Zapdos does heal off pretty much all damage, though. In comes Celebi. Celebi's going to Leech Seed. As Zapdos quick Signal Beam, doing almost half. This is a very special defensive Celebi. Zapdos could go out to Drapion, makes a lot of sense, as Celebi Psychics. Celebi is going to switch out to the Vaporeon, as Drapion's going to Toxic Spike up. Fortress comes out, presumably to spin. Steph gives Snorlax a free turn to a quick Fire Punch, doing a ton of damage into his Fortress. Vaporeon comes out as Armaldo switches in. Armaldo's going to be forced back out into Snorlax. Surf does very little damage here. Bias Slam from Snorlax doing a little bit, and Roar from Vaporeon forcing it out. Drapion comes back in, so he can give up Toxic Spikes again here. It's going to do just that. Vaporeon clicks Wish. Is Gorex going to like maybe Fire Fang predicting the Fortress? No, he's just going to Whirlwind forcing it out anyway, and that Wish is going to go waste. U-turn from the Flygon into Fortress. Drapion's got Ice Fang, get a little bit of chip on this Fortress here. Is going to get the freeze. Oh no, that means that Muteki can't spin anymore realistically. Azelf is going to come in here. Muteki does have to preserve the Fortress to try and spin later, as Azelf clicks Thunderbolt, calling the Gyarados or the Vaporeon. Flygon is just going to U-turn as the Zapdos comes in. And Celebi's going to come out. Does that, but we know that Zapdos has Signal Beam, which is going to do a ton of damage here. Azelf is going to come out on the weak seed, allowing it to force a ton of offensive pressure here. And Azelf is just going to quick U-turn as the Fortress comes out, taking more chip. In comes Armaldo. Interesting. I guess Fortress doesn't really pressure Armaldo, and we're going to knock so it doesn't get any more lefties. I mean, Fortress, yeah, because Armaldo's so Gyro's not going to do much. Armaldo's setting up the rocks on the spinner, just saying, you are frozen, I do not care what you do. Azelf comes in, and Flame Throw is going to clean knock out that Fortress beam. These hazards are staying up. Gyros will take 25 here. Azelf is not Scarf, so it's going to Thunderbolt and knock out the Gyarados. That crit definitely did not matter. And now the Scarf Flygon coming in. Actually, that Gyarados might have been Scarf, honestly. That might, no, because no, I'm stupid. Flygon locks into Outrage, but physically defensive Armaldo takes nothing. Armaldo's going to knock off, get rid of Flygon's Scarf. So now Flygon is in a much worse position in this late game. And Azelf's looking insane now that Flygon's Scarf is gone. Vaporeon going to take Rocks and some Toxic Spike chip, and it's going to get Rock Slide for more damage. Vaporeon's going to Wish, but Gorex is going to call that, just knocking off the Vaporeon's off. There's this knockoff putting in so much work for Gorex. He's already removed, what, 3 items this game? Yeah, 3 items this game with it. Actually, I'm pretty sure. I don't remember if he knocked off the Flygon. I think he did, but... Anyway, Surface is going to do match with Zapdos. Zapdos is going to come in. It's just going to Roost here. Yeah, and just get Outrage, but I don't think they... Yeah, Scarf Outrage doesn't 2 KO Zapdos. They can just Toxic Stall this. Outrage is going to do an Euphoria, but again, Zapdos can just spam Roost here. It's really not afraid of anything. Outrage crit would be bad, but other than that, it's not going to crit, so Zapdos just Roost again. Is back up to 90%. Flying us to get a ton of chip here for no reason. And it's confused now. And yeah, Muteki's going to forfeit. I mean, he's not breaking his team. I'm surprised. What would his last Pokemon have been? Muteki's last Pokemon was probably Infernape. Yeah, but he's didn't reveal Infernape yet. And honestly, I think I mean, you just have to get damage on Zapdos, and Infernape can maybe do it. Like, I guess Azelf's a problem, but I don't know. I think that was a bit of a premature forfeit, but that is going to be a 6-0 win for Gorex, another top-tier DDT player from the past. Coming in 6-0ing their first game, just like Vest and Marshy. So very, very dominant win from Gorex here. Nothing too crazy to knock off. Did a lot of work. I liked the way he played around that Fortress. Obviously, getting the freeze was big, but he played around really well anyway. Yeah, it's a very big one from Gorex. Okay, on to the next one. This here we have Stevish versus Naf J. 2 players I don't know, but that's okay. And let's go on to this matchup then. First thing I'm noticing is Naf J's Starmie is very strong. Outside of like the Suicune, I think you just suspect Starmie here. You outspeed everything anyway, so you can just spam attacks here and nothing really switches in. Snorlax can come in, but you can always just double out to something. I mean, Snorlax is a huge problem for Naf J. No fighting type means that if Snorlax starts cursing, this could be very difficult to deal with. Maybe like a Swords Dance Low Kick Weavile, but even then you have to like not get paralyzed by the Snorlax's body slam and you have to live one. Snorlax is a huge threat here. Naf J's Raikou is okay, but into like Roserade, Electivire, Electivire is actually a really solid Raikou check. I mean, Raikou can fit HP ground here. It also helps versus the Heatran. But the combination of Electivire and Gligar together is going to be really tough for Raikou to break through. But I don't know if I like Gligar in this matchup into Weavile Starmie. I guess it does kind of switch in on Bronzong and get hazards up, so maybe. I don't know. This is really weird. I will say Starmie's a good spare, but if it's not, but Miss Mag with Spadef can kind of take it on with like Pains with the heal up. So I think it is feasible for Steve to keep his rocks up, which would be really big for this Weavile. Even for Raikou switching around. And for the Moltres, I don't know if I would bring Moltres here, but if he brings it, obviously you want the rocks. Yeah, I'd say, I know, the Storm is really good, though. The Storm is really strong, but I think the Snorlax on Steve's side does kind of give him an edge. Heatran is also very strong here, obviously. I mean, your only real switch is Starmie and Moltres, and Moltres doesn't enjoy coming in on rocks, and Starmie, obviously, if it's more offensive set, will take a ton of damage from those fire moves. Let's get into the game. Steve on the left and NAFJ on the right. Starmie's going to trick this Armaldo a Toxic Orb, but Armaldo's just going to X her and knock out what NAFJ's biggest threats immediately. That's huge. They're going to trade rocks, and yes, Armaldo can spin, but I don't know, losing Starmie like that's so bad for NAFJ. Bro's just going to reflect, so it's going to try and start getting up some screens. X-Scissor is going to do virtually nothing to that Nidoking. Nidoking's your Earthquake best and not going to knock out the Armaldo, and Stillage will do some more chip here. Armaldo's going to go down to the Toxic, though. Suicune comes in on Nidoking. Bronzong is a pretty switch Suicune, but Suicune just Calm Mind. Yeah, here it goes. I assume he wants to boom with it, but Hydro Pump's going to do a lot. He's going to Light Screen. Okay, 6 Hydro Pump doesn't knock out, so Steve can go into Heatran, but Heatran's still frustrating. I mean, Nidoking's going to take a lot of damage even through the Light Screen. Fire Blast, yeah, does 45. Earthquake's got speed, but he is Shuckleberry Heatran, so Heatran can take this out with an Earth Power. Steve in a very dominant position right now. Raikou comes out, and he's going to Discharge, taking down the Heatran. Snorlax comes in. Snorlax in a very strong position. Discharge from the Raikou doing 34, no para. Bioslam on the Raikou 51, and it's going to get its own power. Remember, electric types can be paralyzed in this generation. And because of the way paralysis works, Raikou is slower than Zero Speed Snorlax, meaning that Bioslam can take it out. Bioslam on the Bronzong doing 12. Another para. That is how Bioslam works. It's very good at cheesing. Nerve paralysis. And Bioslam and Bronzong can keep getting paralyzed. This is yellow magic at work here, folks. Bioslam, as it does get a light screen, but it's losing Reflect turns really quickly here. What's NAFJ going to do with those? He's down 4-2. And these two are very healthy. Weavile comes in, but like Brick Break's not going to knock it out. Yeah, I feel like you need a low kick here. Rock Slide is going to do 41. Weavile does die to another one, and Brick Break does not knock out. You really need a low kick in this matchup, except it gets a high roll on the Brick Break taking out Snorlax. But Suicune, I mean, what do you do now? You Brick Break. Oh, it's Choice. That was Choice, Steven? That was Bandit. We did that much. It might be Scarf, actually. Hydro Pump is going to miss, but like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's it. Wow, it's a Weavile with that. Okay, I'm surprised with the screen, but fair enough. Keep getting check on the Suicune, but can the last Pokemon answers. Just quick hand power, predicting, I'm not sure what predicting me, HP Electric for the Moltres, for the Starmie, but Moltres will come in quick Solar Beam, Power Herb, knock out the Suicune, but can Moltres at 50% take on the last two? Probably not. We see Roserade as this Scarf. Flamethrowers go weave the Roserade on 1 HP, and it is going to HP Rock. I have no idea what that roll is, but that's going to win the game. I wonder, what was Steve's last Pokemon? I have Steve's last Pokemon was like Electivire. It wouldn't matter. Electivire definitely wins from 87. Even Mismag probably wins that from that range. I don't know why you went Moltres. I feel like you just go into whatever your last is and you should be fine. I guess if the last is Gligar, maybe you don't. But yeah, pretty pretty convincing win from Steve, even though it was only a 2-0. That X-Scissor on Starman turn was gigantic. Starman was so important in this matchup. And just the way he played through those screens was pretty effective. Brick Break on Weavile was kind of interesting. Choice Brick Break, I really am not... that's gotta be Scarf then. If it only did that much to Snorlax, it was Choice. So yeah, the screens were okay here, but they weren't amazing. You didn't really have much to take advantage of them unless maybe a Calm Mind Raikou potentially. Overall, a good win for Steve. Okay, on to our next game. We do have here on to game 18. We have on the left, we have Mithra Ninja the Mob, and on the right we have Not Adam. Not Adam is 2-0 plus 12 going into this game, including a dominant 6-0 over the reigning champion Vesuvius. So Not Adam is on an absolute tear so far in this tournament. He is clinched for brackets. He is looking to get that 3-0 and maybe even secure the top seed overall if he gets a big win here. 2-0 plus 12 is nothing to shake a stick at to start out. Mithra Ninja the Mob, I believe, is 0-1, so he needs to win this for his tournament life to get up to 1-1 and then take on... I believe his last point would be Vesuvius, and the winner of that game would move on. So this is a very, very important game for both players. So looking at the matchup, Not Adams, Raikou is very strong here. 2 ground types, but neither of them take HP Ices very well. And Zapdos is obviously pretty much set up for the Raikou. The Gyarados is also looking very strong. Only real switch is Zapdos. I guess you also have the Chronon, but Chronon doesn't do that much back. Maybe like it has pack HP Electric, but its special attack is pretty low. Like that's not good to me, like 60 at most. I do see though, Mifra's Lucario looks very good here. Very, very good. There's the Mesprit and the Dusclops. If you give a Swords Dance, you're in very good position. Weavile can't do too much to you. It dies to +2 Bullet Punch anyway, or +2 E-Speed. Raikou's the one thing, but even then, Raikou takes a lot from +2 I4 E-Speed from Lucario. That's really rough. The Heatran on Not Adams size are a very big threat here. It can even like trap the Clef and maybe wear it down with Taunt. If Clef isn't patching HP ground, which to be fair, Clef probably should pack HP ground this game, but I don't know if it'll fit it. We just see the Weavile mirror. Both Weaviles look okay here. I think Adam's Weavile looks a little better into Mifra's team because the Steel type is Lucario. And Mifra's Weavile doesn't do much into Heatran, and especially does like virtually nothing into Fortress. Fortress is pretty solid here in Gerald. Getting up hazards. Donphan can't spin on Dusclops too easily if Dusclops comes. Fortress can't really spin on Spiritomb either, but there's no spikes or anything, so it's just rocks from Mifra's side. I don't know, I think I have to give the matchup to Adam with Raikou and Heatran. They just both look so strong here. So I think Adam very well might get up to his third win, but we'll see how this game goes. Mesprit and Zapdos lead off on both sides. Zapdos getting off a turn 1 Toxic as Mesprit's going to get up its rocks. This will start chipping the Mesprit down, of course. U-turn doing Twave free to Mesprit. In comes the Donphan playing the spin. Mesprit's just going to U-turn out, though. In comes Gyarados to exert immediate offensive pressure. Gyarados is going to Dragon Dance. Is the Dom in? It's just going to Rapid Spin. It's not Storage or Thunder Fang. Out comes Clefable. This Gyarados is in a huge position now. And it's going to sub. This Gyarados is incredibly frank. It's good Dragon Dance here. Clefable is going to Seismic Toss, but does this Gyarados knock out at +2? +2 Waterfall is only to do 62. It's a physically defensive Clefable. But that Waterfall flinch prevents the Clef from clicking T-Bolt or Thunder Wave. Ninja Rob's going to say GG, but the game isn't necessarily over yet. Gyarados go Waterfall doing 56 to Chronon. But Chronon, with a probably Choice Mega Crunch, is going to knock out the Gyarados. Clearly the Gyarados was not packing Earthquake, because I think Earthquake might have KO'd at +2. But he's going to stay on with his Chronon on the Raikou, not wait it set up, and Raikou's just going to fire up a T-Bolt. That Gyarados was looking really scary, but with that flinch, despite who was in Clef, Chronon was able to handle it. Donphan's just going to Earthquake on the Raikou, can't play with fire there, and Mesprit's going to come in. Mesprit's just going to, let's see what else to do. Mesprit probably get Rock here. Yeah, it's going to get rocks up as Zapdos comes in. Good play from Ninja Dio. Preserves health. U-turn, gain another 26 on the Mesprit. Donphan comes in to spin, but Mesprit can U-turn out into Dusclops. Yeah. To ensure the rocks will stay up. Oh, but, oh my god, a crit Earthquake. What the fuck? That's offensive, too. That's like, is that freaking, no, is that freaking banded Donphan? Like, I can't believe an Earthquake would OHKO with Dusclops unless it's banded, like, even then the Dusclops stuff. What the hell was that? Anyway, Spiritomb's going to start Calm Minding as the Fortress comes in. We're just going to go out to Raikou as Spiritomb can't continue to Calm Mind. Calm Mind Spiritomb is a threat you always have to respect in this generation. But Raikou's going to Toxic, however. Spiritomb on Calm Mind sets almost always runs Rest. Dark Pulse doing some chip, and Raikou is going to Protect here. So another 12 on the Spiritomb, but Raikou, so it's sub-Protect Toxic, okay. But if the Spiritomb has Rest, you're not going to be making any long-term progress here. It's definitely got Rest. It's a Calm Mind Spiritomb. Like, it always runs Rest. Sometimes Pain Split, but almost always Rest, especially in a matchup like this where Toxic is so easy to come out from Heatran or Raikou or Dusclops. Spiritomb is low, but Raikou's going to Protect. I assume the Spiritomb's going to Rest here. Yeah, it's just going to get up to full. I'm not sure what D-Colon can do about the Spiritomb with Gyarados gone. In comes Heatran. It is good. It is good Calm Mind and get another Sleep Talk. And get a Sleep Talk and get a Calm Mind. Sleep Talk and Rest. What's Heatran going to do here? It's just going to Roar. Okay, that forces it out. Lucario coming in is really bad for Not Adam, though. Ghost Combat's going to do very well to Fortress, actually, so maybe it's not that bad. Fortress is going to click, let's get quick on the Zapdos coming in. Going to give a spike, so further damage on Lucario and Spiritomb. Thunderbolt will not knock out the Fortress. Is Fortress going to boom? No, it's just going to spike. So more spikes, but Zapdos is staying healthy. I assume, yeah, Mesmer's coming in here. Thunderbolt will not knock out the Mesmer. It's a Healing Wish to get this Raikou up to full. So that's very good, but the Spiritom's still a problem. Raikou is going to substitute what Zapdos going to do. Zapdos going to Thunderbolt. That does not break the sub. Raikou in a fantastic position now. Toxic, but Toxic miss on the Zapdos. Oh no, his U-turn. That's incredibly unfortunate. Then Lucario comes in. Lucario used to be scarfing in close combat the Raikou. It's not going to knock out, but Raikou's really low now. Thunderbolt will KO it back. Now out comes the Spiritomb, and Spiritomb just starts staying up. Thunderbolt will do 41, but Spiritomb can Calm Mind here. And it should be out of range of another Thunderbolt. Raikou's going to Thunderbolt here, obviously. The Spiritomb can just rest. Yeah, Spiritomb can just rest. Raikou's going to need a crit to break this. Go out to E-Train, you're obviously going to Roar here, but I don't know. This Zapdos looking very... This Spiritomb is looking to go win the endgame on its own. E-Train's going to Roar, yeah, it moves second there. Zapdos going to take 25, but I don't know, man. It is tough. Out to Raikou, but Raikou's getting really low. Thunderbolt only doing 13. That's a very special defensive Raikou. Raikou's going to Thunderbolt onto the Zapdos as Zapdos Thunderbolts itself. And oh no, the power. That's going to end the game. That's it. Now the Zapdos just wins. Yeah, Zapdos Furry into Heatran. That's over. Flamethrower will outspeed, but it's not going to do enough. Heatran goes down. And yeah, this is just going to be the end of the game now that power's on there. Zapdos is going to Roost. Raikou, I assume, is going to go Toxic, but it's a bit too late, I think. Because Raikou can never 1v1 the Spiritomb without crits. Just going to skip Breeze turns a bit. Yeah, Thunderbolt, a quick sub, a quick Protect. Gets a double Protect, but like Zapdos can just Roost, yeah. It doesn't matter. Raikou can never 1v1 the Spiritomb anyway, so he's going to get a crit if he's even going to have a shot here. Thunderbolt not break the sub again, but Spiritomb just wake up and start Calm Minding, yeah. And Raikou being sore is also really rough because of the paralysis. Dark Pulse will break the sub. Thunderbolt will do 28. Spiritomb is out of range, so it has to Dark Pulse here. And Raikou's got Thunderbolt, but does not get the roll. And that means that Spiritomb will clean up this endgame. However, we do see a Protect, but Spiritomb's going to rest. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Sleep Talk getting rest, but it's not going to matter this late. Raikou can substitute, but I mean, I think Spiritomb always wins this. Sleep Talk into a Calm Mind, yeah. Raikou's going to Thunderbolt, and also Raikou's down to just 6 Thunderbolts because of the pressure on the Spiritomb and the Zapdos. Eventually just go run out, and it's just a stall and try and PP stall, but with Rest Sleep Talk, you can never PP stall that. Raikou's going to Protect, but again, it's just not going to matter. Spiritomb is going to knock out in... And a Ninja Mob is going to win a close 1-0. That Thunderbolt power was unfortunate. A few other things. But Not still going to end 2-1 plus 11, which is a fantastic record. But it means he very well might not get that bye he was searching for because he's only 2-1. So, unfortunate way for Not to lose the game. But, I mean, decently well played by Ninja Mob. And that crit on Clefable was pretty big, too. So, I don't think it was all one-sided on the hacks, per se. Very good Spiritomb set. I love me some good Calm Mind Spiritomb. And yeah, also the Earthquake crit on Dusclops was huge. That was really big. Let's get into the next game. We got 2 left for this stream. So hop into game number 19. Number 19, we have Toriso versus Boreer. Toriso's a pretty decently known draft player at this point. He's been around both the Shonen and the Wi-Fi scenes. He makes a lot of content on YouTube. He is also making some content on DPP, so I definitely recommend checking these out. I haven't watched his video yet, but I know he put up a video because I saw the thumbnail of Rampardos, so at least we know Rampardos is coming this game. So looking at the matchup, Infernape goes hog wild. I mean, outside Tentacruel, but like Jolteon can take advantage of Tentacruel super easily, and he can also HPI some potential Glide Score. You can say Raikou's pretty good because he can stay up on Jolteon pretty easily. So Raikou's very strong in this matchup as well. I will say Toriso's Gyarados looks solid here. It's not like the best into Celebi, but it can do work still. And a Toriso Spirit Bait Cloyster means Frostlass is a pretty solid spiker here. But the spinner on Boreer's side being Tentacruel, that can never break Spiritomb. So Toriso spikes. This could definitely be a very hazard-heavy game with lots of spikes on both sides. I think the Infernape on Toriso's side is very strong here. Boreer's Raikou is good, but I don't think it's as good. So I think I'm going to give the matchup to Toriso here. Let's see how it goes. And apparently there's a Rampardos in this game, so that's exciting. Infernape lead into Frostless. Frostless just a Thunder Wave turn 1. That Infernape is immediately neutralized. Infernape cooking Fling with a Light Ball, so both Pokemon are now paralyzed. Frostless going to Destiny Bond as Infernape gets up its rocks. Interesting. Spikes, and Infernape's going to knock out the Frostless. So even though Infernape is paralyzed, it did knock out the Frostless with only one Spike. It's going to take a Surf. What's it going to click now? Earthquake, doing 54 into the Tentacruel. Tentacruel's going to Surf, so not wanting to risk the Rapid Spin not KOing and going down. In comes Jolteon. This is going to force out Tentacruel. Tentacruel cannot spin on this. Gliscor comes in as Jolteon just clicks Thunderbolt. In comes Celebi, expecting HPS. Cloyster comes in, so this is maybe forced out the Cloyster. Yeah, in comes Bronzong. Psychic's going to do literally nothing to this Bronzong. It's going to even heal it off of leftovers, I presume. Yep. But with the Spadef drop, that HP Fire is going to do a good chunk. Toxic on the Celebi, but again, Natural Cure, as we've said all stream, is going to allow Celebi to switch that out immediately. Yeah, in comes Scizor. And out comes Jolteon. We don't know. I've seen the Bronzong also has HP Fire, but I get why I didn't put it there. Thunderbolt is not going to do that much to Scizor, only 40, and U-Turn's going to do a ton to this Jolteon. Celebi comes back in. Does the Jolteon have Signal Beam? It's going to protect first, so that makes me think it probably does have Signal Beam. HP Fire Celebi firing off now. Yeah, and in comes the Bronzong, but this HP Fire is... Oh, actually, it's just a Psychic. Fair enough. Does Bronzong have a way to hit the Celebi? It's going to get Leech Seeded. It's just going to boom, and that's not going to knock out the Celebi. It's going to get very low. It might be in Rock's range. Is this a Scarf freaking Cloyster? It is. Scarf Cloyster Quick's Ice Beam taking out the Celebi. That does let Tentacruel, and Tentacruel can't spin here unless... nope, Teresa's Ghost type is not going in, so... Just wanted to enforce the offensive pressure on the spin, so in comes Jolteon. Candace Thunderbolt as Gliscor comes in, but I assume it's... nope, it's going to Toxic. So maybe it's not even packing HP Ice. I'm not sure. Jolteon is going to protect, get more chip on the non-poison heal Gliscor since it doesn't get that this generation. And now Gliscor is going to go into Venusaur. As Gliscor U-turns again. In comes Raikou, but Raikou's not the best matchup here. Raikou's going to sub. I assume Venusaur's packing Earthquake, right? Yeah, it's got to be packing Earthquake into the Raikou matchup. Raikou's going to be forced out into Scizor. Earthquake's going to do, a crit. That puts Scizor in range of another one. You have to go off these. That's unfortunate. Gyarados is Teresa's last Pokemon coming on the Scizor. Scizor bullet punches, but Gyarados is going to take nothing from that. Gyarados is going to Dragon Dance. This might just be the end of the game. Scizor's going to U-turn, but I don't know what Boyer can do about it. Brings out Tentacruel, but it is surely in Earthquake range. And we saw he wasn't even Shucker over from the Infernape. Yeah, I think Gyarados is just going to clean. Unless this Raikou is Scarf. No, it's not Scarf. It's not Shucker. This Gyarados is just going to clean. Stone Edge, it is Scarf Gliscor, but Stone Edge is not going to do enough. Maybe if he was running Thunder Fang, it would have done a bit more. Yeah, Thunder Fang just like 260 me, that would have been enough, but Stone Edge is not going to do it. And with that, Waterfall is just going to clean up the game. And I'm just going to go here. So big win from, I guess the Grand Parts was a different game then because this might be his first game. Yeah, I think Grand Parts is the next game, actually, that we'll see from him later. But yeah, big win. Teresa's Gyarados going hog wild here. Makes sense. They had a very good matchup once Celebi went down. I mean, there was no air check. Like, Gyarados was just very strong here. I like the lefties to keep it healthy. Makes sense. Very good sequence with the Infernape bleed into the Frostlass. That went very well for him. Yeah, it was a pretty solid win for Teresa. Nothing too crazy. Just very, solid prep, solid play, good win. On to our last game of the day. Involving this game is part of a two-parter in a replay post. However, I'm going to watch the second one later because I ran out of spots in the matchup doc and didn't feel like wheeling back to one. So we'll watch Ashley's second game later. That's why I have this one over here so I remember to do it. Anyway, for the final game, we have Grounded versus Ashy. I believe Ashy is already 1-0 going into this. I believe Grounded is 0-1 or 0-0. I think they're 0-1. So this game is obviously very big for both players. Looking at the matchup here, first honestly, Lucario is terrifying. I think especially like a special Lucario could be really good, or even I guess year one could work. Year special or physical, because Bullet Punch does actually probably physical because Bullet Punch on Mismag. You just need to get some chip on the Milo and the Scarm, which is not that hard to do when you have a whole ass Magnezone. Magnezone looks amazing here. What's your switching like? Spadef Mismag. Good luck with that. I think you can maybe run like Waifu or Magnezone, just click a bite on Skarmory every time and just force it so much damage, or even on Milo. That's really big. Also, the Tentacruel it's not the best spinner into Mismag, so those spikes might stay up, but it's not the worst either. And then we do see Dragonite looks decent here. I feel like you might even end up bringing a mix set so you can smack the Skarmory. I can see like a Life Orb set with like Superpower, like Outrage, like Fire Punch, Fire Blast or something. I don't know. There's a lot Dragonite can do here. Kingdra is very strong as always, but Tyranitar being able to, remove the rain and then double out into Milotic's really hard for it to deal with. That's a very tough combination for Kingdra to break through. And Kingdra obviously can't really Dragon Dance here, but that does jack shit to Skarmory. So this is a bit of a tough Kingdra matchup for sure. Ashley's Flygon is also very strong here. There's the ground switching is a Dragonite, and that does not enjoy Dragon moves at all. Yeah, I think I have to give the matchup to Ashley here overall. Ground has some threats, but Ashley's team is just going to be really hard for Ground to break through. Let's get into it. We have Ashley, Ground on the left and Ashley on the right. T-Tar and Mamoswine lead. We see, out comes the Mag Zone, but Roar to force it out. Very good play, but you can just bring it back in. And Mag Zone's going to come back in, but he is Shed Cell Skarmory. Makes sense. It does have to be pretty much. Endure, I'm not sure what that was for, but that's interesting. And in comes Dragonite in the Milotic. Sorry, I was just checking something real quick, baby. Ice Beam into the Mag Zone. Good to a bit of chip, and since Mag Zone's not lefties, that will stick. Out comes Mag Zone, in goes Photo. Hypnosis on the Milo, so it will. Probably doesn't go equipped by Thunderbolt. Photo is going to come in and not be able to switch out, do damage, so in comes Tentacruel, but we see another Hypnosis miss. Hypnosis has been terrible on stream. Oh my god, I think it's over 4 on stream with Hypnosis so far. Rain Dance from Tentacruel. In comes the Kingdra. This Magnus is going to trick, though, giving a Choice Scarf to this Kingdra. In comes Milotic, and yeah, he's going to Draco Meteor, but without the Draco play, it's not even going to do that much damage. And now it's fucking Draco is forced out. That's a huge scarf from the Mismag. Hypnosis, you can catch the Dragonite, but it's Lumberry. However, I don't think Dragonite can knock out Milo from this range, right? It's good Dragon Dance. But surely, surely it's packing Ice Beam. You have to expect Ice Beam on this Milotic in this matchup. Like you have a Dragonite, come on. Oh, we already revealed it too. Magzone coming in. T-Tar's going to switch, but the Boom is going to do virtually nothing. And Magzone's attacks that is not that high. And T-Tar also has good defense and resist it. Tactical comes in, he's going to Rain Dance, but Earthquake's going to knock it out. And yeah, I think Ashley has this. Like, he's so far up right now. Kingdra's going to come in, but it's choice. Yeah, Milo comes in. Surface going to do jack shit. Hydro Pump too, yeah. This game is over. Like, I don't see a way Ashley can make, Grounded can make any more progress. Yeah, he can just recover these off. He's going to need a crit, but even then, like, I don't think that's enough. You need like a high roll crit. Hydro Pump miss, unfortunate. Recover, and yeah, no, this is over. This is very over. Voltol come out. Voltol can't do shit into Milo. Hypnosis means it does go to sleep now, too, so it's really useless. Yeah. Oh, Endure was a misclick, fair enough. I still don't know what Endure was for, but it was a misclick. So, I guess it's Custap, probably. But if you're Endure on Magzone and you don't like proc a Salcary, it's pretty obvious you're Custap Boom and you can just go out to Mismag or T-Tar on it. Yeah, but huge 6-0 win for Ashley, moving him into brackets. So with that, I think that knocks Ground out as well. So with that, let's call it for this stream. I'll see you all maybe later for another one.